We can get started.
Go ahead and get started.
Yes.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order and do a roll call. Let's start.
We'll call it Nathan.
Oh.
And then ask you.
I'm on the committee, but yeah, Nathan George, city manager.
Michelle Ellis, Alexandra Briley,
Ian Harford.
Steve Montero.
Sarah Sullivan, staff here as well.
awesome.
Okay.
All right, so next agenda item is public questions. We've got non-agenda items. Seeing no public. Moving on to the next agenda item, adoption of minutes from October 2nd.
Yes, were there, said everyone had a chance to look those over? Are there any changes to the minutes?
A motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
All right, the next item up is the city board and commission structure. And passing it to city manager.
Right. Thank you.
How quickly it comes to you.
It does come really quick on the basis. It's not a lot of agenda other than. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about several things and wanted to start with, this is gonna be a few minutes discussion here, however long you want it, but I wanted to start with, where the city is at financially, so you understand kind of where we're coming at. And then, I'll kind of dive into where I'm going with this. So, first of all, I know Dean's met several times with me, which I appreciate, so I know you know a little bit more about this, but, and hopefully you've been getting the newsletters and reading about what's going on, so. The reasons we're in this particular mess, honestly, a lot of it just has to do with previous administration just didn't inform the council what's going on. So that's the mess we're in. So, but where we're at, we have right now almost a $3 million deficit in our budget, in our general fund. So we're in a serious place. The other funds are not as bad, but they do need some work, some increases. The biggest one's going to be because of the well 10, which is our water. So just kind of giving you a precursor. We met with council last month and talked to them and give us proposals on what we can do to make that to solve the problem. It's going to be painful, but we can eventually get there. Right now we're running at about $2.5, almost $3 million budget. It's like 2.9 or something. Deficit budget, deficit budget. So we're paying almost $7 million in public safety alone. That's just fire, police, and 911. That's it. We bring in with the public safety fee about $5.2 million. That's with the new public safety fee. Public safety fee, $20 a month equals about $1.1 million in the city. We have $3 million in property tax, $1.1 million in franchise fees, and another 1.1. So it's about 5.2 million. And that's depressing.
Oh, sorry.
But the point is that, and then we have a little bit more of this. So the rest of the city is about 1.6 completely total. All of the departments. We run a really lean staff. So what that means is that our general fund is sinking. We only have $2 million in cash reserves. We're going to be going through the budget process. I encourage anybody that would like to attend those meetings. So we have a budget committee. I wouldn't say I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited. I think we're going to have a full committee this time. Really forward. So I let you know that, and I'm proposing significant increases because there's just, I mean, unless you have ideas of what we can cut, there's really nothing to cut. The one thing right now is our park. This isn't really this committee, but the message I gave to the Parks Committee was that we don't have any capital. Well, it's the same thing right now. What I want to do really strongly is have an economic development specialist. And that person would work under Sarah, and that person will be working with businesses and working on strategy, all kinds of things. Try to help revitalize our city, help bring businesses, help understand the needs of our businesses and needs of people coming in. There's 100 things we can talk about, but that person will only be contingent if we get enough general fund money, because that position is partially funded by general fund. Like it's kind of general fund. So one of the things I wanted to kind of give you a base layer of where we're at financially in the city, and it's not a good place. I've made some proposals though. One of the big things is that we can eventually get to a fire district that will significantly help us, or there's other options too, but that will help bring the money out of the general fund. The city's part of the general fund still affects our residents. And by the way, not that you But Manners would actually live here too. My wife and I bought a home at Fairview. And our public director, excuse me, our finance director also bought a home in Fairview. So the two people that are really pushing for recommendations are we both live fully affected, just like everyone else. The next thing I want to talk about, the committees. Advisory committees are really great to advise the council. And unfortunately, and I'm going to kind of wrap a lot of discussion between discussion we have with other advisory committees and discussion that I've had with the council. There's not been a lot of direction from the council and advisory committees. And that's one side. The other side is it's been like, what does an advisory committee do? What should be their role? And that's been difficult. And so we have other advisory committees that have gotten into where they're doing events and things, which really isn't the purpose of the advisory committee. So I met with the council, I think it was last summer. Met with the council, talked about the roles of advisory committees. So they had a lot of input, which was good. And they're looking at, we're gonna take a deep dive into it. We'll be doing this later this year. I gotta get through budget. I got so many things we're working on, just a lot of stuff. Just a lot of stuff. And if you ever want to come meet with me, I'll be happy to go in great detail. I'm very open and transparent. So at any rate, we really want to get to the point where advisory committees are really advising the council on different projects, goals, processes, whatever that might be. So the question then comes, and I'm going to start with like our park advisory committee, Parks and Rec, we call it Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. And just going to use that as an example. First of all, we don't have recreation. Recreation's in a recreation department, so reorganized recreation department. A big role of that is the play sport. So although events as well. So that committee has been now transformed into a volunteer basis, a volunteer group that is not working with our recreation department. Because that, what was it called? Yeah, what was it? The
Community Engagement Committee.
That particular committee has morphed. We actually, the council has stopped that committee. We're going to be doing legislation ordinances to make all this fit down the council like, but that was moved into a volunteer basis, and that's important for my conversation in a moment here. So parks, we move the recreation out, and then the park side. What does a parks advisory do? Well, my experience, I've been city manager, assistant city manager for 25 years. Local government business, but a parks advisory committee advises the council on parks. They're the ones that have that piece that actually works with residents, gives input, gives ideas. But what they typically do is they give, information and input and a perspective on a park project or a park program. We don't have any money for parks, and our parks are all passive except for one basketball hoop and playgrounds, and we have fishing. Consider that kind of passive. I'm talking active. Real actives. We don't have parking, our parks. We don't have a lot of things. We don't even have restrooms. So we have nice parks. We have our 100 acres, and we are just resting, just taking care of those 100 acres. So my point is that in this budget, we're not proposing any money for anything right now to increase any capital project. We have no money. So we actually need to replace playground equipment that expires. We need to replace that. There's a lot of things we need to do. Believe me, we are taking deep into our very lean budget, really are. So that leads me to the Economic Development Advisory Committee. So the question is what are you advising the council? And I know you have lots of ideas, and I understand you've had lots of things come forward, but I think there's not a connect. And this is something that even one of our councilors in one of the other committees was talking about. Typically, the councilors will give literally a very short we have met with this committee, and this is what we talked about. So the question is, where is that connection? Where is the council getting what they appointed you for, which is that feedback? And so one of the things that we had discussed as a leadership team, this is not a council decision. One of the things we talked about for this committee, Economic Development Committee, would be more of getting together and create focus groups to actually work on ideas. Rather than having an official committee that meets once a month or even less, or more, having a committee, because I feel like it's really important. I know you will have goals and you want to do these things. The question is are they getting done? I don't think they're getting done because there's not that direct direction from council, and there's not that direct feedback. So my proposal to council will be to actually for the economic development specialist. But if we don't, we still have Sarah, that's her department, and that's the reason she's part of it. It's one of several reasons that she's our development director, to work on that and to be able to have that. And it's like, okay, hey, we have an economic development specialist, but don't, and we want to convene our focus group. Hey, maybe we want to look at A, B, or C. And we take that to council, and council's like, yeah, that's great. Let's move forward with that. Let's focus on this. Let's focus on whatever the focus could be. It could be STC fees, it could be anything financial related, it could be actually like a Halsey improvement project, it could be all kinds of things. It could be one city I worked in, city was older, our city's much newer as far as businesses, we had like a facade grant program. We do this matching the sun and how people get their facades looking nice. We don't have that. Our city was really nice, but those types of things. So really what I'm suggesting is that everyone be open to the idea of maybe having a focus group where we would have you on the list, and then as things came up, we would convene and say, hey, council wants to work on this. Let's focus on this, or let's get some feedback and get you a focus group to meet with the council. So that's what we're looking at.
Can I just add a little bit too?
Please.
Because I think that, you know, when Nathan's talking about projects, I feel like the key thing that kind of is part of the way that the advisory committees have been structured is that it starts with the council identifying a particular project that's going to be coming to the council for decision. And then the council needing feedback from the committee to inform that decision. So like EDAC has done that on the tenant improvement grant program, has done it on previous, on the MUPT, the tax exemption program, the general like development incentive program that the city has in place related to SEC waivers. So those have been specific council goals that they've needed to adopt by resolution, and EDAC's provided input to those. And I think that that's kind of the intent of how that would be structured. I think where the challenge has come in is that there are other projects that, you know, I think we all want to happen, council included, staff and EDAC, that have come forward with recommendations from EDAC, but there's just currently not the funds, the resources to make those happen. And so then I think we all feel a little deflated, like, you know, we keep putting forth these ideas and these recommendations, and we're not getting any traction with the council on moving them forward. And a large part of that is due to the budgetary situation that the city's in right now. So hopefully as we work through the budget, as the council has additional conversations about ways to generate additional revenue, we get enough funds to hire somebody to really focus on economic development, that could change. And then there would be more items that the council needs feedback on from you all. And then, you know, hopefully from other people in the community, like our businesses. I know EDAC was really interested in having like business forums to get input from businesses, or kind of the idea of reviving this lunch that the city held quarterly with business members. And I think the structure that Nathan was talking about could provide that opportunity to kind of meld the two ideas, where if we could reach out to people who have businesses in Fairview, and maybe the meeting is like at lunchtime or breakfast time, it's something that could kind of work for people who work or own businesses in Fairview, as well as, you know, community members like you who are interested in economic development. So.
And one of the advantages to that is wouldn't be a committee, so that you just meet, wouldn't have to worry about having minutes, wouldn't have to worry about opening up, streaming and so forth.
Wouldn't have to worry about quorum or not having, you know, enough membership. I mean, hopefully whenever these meetings would happen, there would be a sufficient number of people, but I know that has been one of the challenges with EDAC over the years, is just keeping a full committee.
So trying to think of a way to get people involved in economic development in a way that's gonna be really, working with the council, working with staff. Trying to focus, because I know there's a lot of things to do, believe me. You want to know something about me, like I'm a really hands-on city manager. Why, I don't mean like I run around telling people to do, but I'm like, really, I'm a systems thinker, I'm trying to think about everything, and I'm trying to get everything. So we're trying to tackle everything. They're trying to, they're getting there, that's why I restructured internally, and we're trying to get things. We've got some big challenges, which is getting there.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is an open discussion, so if you have questions, comments on the budget and the committee, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, feel free to disagree too. I mean, it's okay. We're trying to see input. Something too is if you think about any ideas, get to me, get to Sarah.
I have a couple thoughts. So when my business is suffering, the last thing I do is hire on more staff. So I don't know why we're hiring on more staff. So for example, tell me how the economic person is going to help me in my business. Or the people that are in my mall, tell me how it's going to really help.
The point of having that person would be someone to help, like, for example, we have a lot of empty storefronts. And, I don't have time to dig in and work with the owners and say, hey, why are we not filling the storefronts? I mean, sure, I hear things, I don't know. But to actually have someone go out and actually work with the owners and say, hey, how can we partner? How can we fill up our storefronts? To go out, someone to go out and say, hey, there's businesses aren't as successful. There's businesses that need some assistance. I don't necessarily mean financial, but having built a network and say, what can we do? What's something we could do? It helps lead us, helps us understand the needs of the community. I don't know if you have any off the top of your head. I'm not gonna be able to sit here and give you 100 things.
I mean,
But I think-
my point being as a landlord, I do everything you're talking about, more so than any economic person can do. I'm motivated to lease my place out. So I don't know how that person's gonna help that person.
Well, I think just to kind of expand on what Nathan was saying, in addition to working with the landlords, I see the economic development person as actually doing, like, recruiting businesses to Fairview on their own. Maybe doing that outreach to try and bring businesses in more than what landlords and their agents are doing. And we know that some, landlords and some leasing agents are more proactive in getting out there and recruiting businesses than others. But I think that could be part of it. I think it could also be working with existing, working with property owners who have vacant land to try and advance development projects in coordination with urban renewal. Try and figure out what the barriers are. If there are barriers preventing, raw land from getting developed and playing a role in that, as well as do more relationship building with existing businesses to try and retain those businesses. And if those businesses need help with workforce or they feel like they need to expand, just kind of being a resource to the extent that we can, knowing that, businesses also have so much expertise and a lot of resources, but maybe, providing connections if needed.
Not to mention redevelopment too. Areas that may be able to be redeveloped and working with those owners to say, hey, are you willing to look at proposal having this area redeveloped?
And I think, kind of going back to what Nathan was talking about with the budget and the fact that Fairview's land area or taxable base is so much residential and public property. Lots of parkland, school property, city property, and a lot of residential. So trying to bring in, fill those vacant lots, bring in more commercial and industrial development where we have opportunity.
So my next way in would be And you're kind of late to the party, but we've been talking about this for 3 years of the on-street parking. So rather than spending that amount of money, if we could put on-street parking, I know you guys are tired of hearing me about this, but Northbrook will be vacant 8 years from now until we get parking for it. It's just, that's just the reality. So why can't we take what's right in front of us, what we should be fixing, rather than trying to get somebody who's going to have a genie in a bottle come up with something new? I mean, don't we all agree that we need to fix the parking?
That's,
So to finalize on that, in order to fix a budgetary problem, we either need to cut the budget or make more income. So why don't we fill up these retail places, making our city vibrant?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So what I'm hearing you say, Dean, is we shouldn't spend money on an economic development and we should use those funds instead for like redoing, putting in parking on Halsey. Is that, I just want to see if I'm hearing you right.
To the chase, I'm asking the committee, would we rather have parking on Halsey next year at this time? Or have somebody come on board to help try to find something? Which one do we want?
just like everything's, I don't know, from my personal perspective, so, like, even in business, right, you have to spend money to make money. The short-term fix, 100% that we've been talking about for a long time is, on-street parking to make it more attractive to businesses coming into the city. I can also see kind of the strategic, it sounds like kind of a strategic play in order to do the same thing. Like, right, like both are trying to achieve more people, more businesses and storefronts. One, and both of them require money. And one, we could, seems like we should be able to do it with, in relatively short order. And one is, kind of a strategic, somebody to provide the city the manpower to get people to fill up those buildings that aren't getting filled for whatever reason. So I agree that we've been talking about on-street parking for a long time. And I also understand the, kind of having somebody dedicated to making that happen as well. Because I mean, we've tried ideas. Our idea was the on-street, one of the, kind of quicker fixes is the on-street parking. So
To kind of follow, go ahead.
Okay. The real crux of the matter is going to be totally, completely involved with the budget. Okay. Now, in regard to having a specialist come in to be able to do what is suggested, it really boils down to a cost benefit analysis. Does that person's wages, fringe package and everything going to be able to gain what we need to do versus how much money do we need to be able to save in order to be able to accomplish some of these capital projects? And that's really what they boil down to when it comes down to the parking thing. Offhand, an FTE is going to be far less expensive than the millions of dollars that it's going to take to try to be able to make these capital improvements. Okay, so cost benefit analysis on that person. Now, back up and say, if it's going to require the funds in order to be able to accomplish the multitude of tasks that we have, and we're going to focus only on the economic development, so that's within our purview right now. You've got the whole big picture. You're looking at it from 30,000 feet down to 30. That's what you just said. And that's the kind of person you are. You got it right here. A lot of effort has been put in on coming up with a really good plan. But that plan is got a big price tag. The whole Halsey corridor. Being able to take and putting in a few parking spaces in a few key places like we had already talked about several times, and about I think it was like $1.6 or $1.8 million to be able to make some restriping and stuff like that on Halsey that produce maybe a dozen parking spaces at most. That's only going to really satisfy a small portion. When you look at the big picture, like I'm sure you have done at it, say, what is it going to take for us to be able to get to a point where we can develop a park and ride an area there, because we're never going to be able to put more parking spaces in the village for all the open commercial places. We're never going to be able to put enough parking spaces to be able to fill the commercial spaces on 223rd. They're at, what is it, Crossing?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Halsey Crossing,
Halsey
yeah.
Crossing.
Mhm.
They're vacant, just like these ones are downtown. The big goal, the one that's going to answer all of our questions, which Dean has been totally right on, is getting something set up to where we don't have to try to create more parking spaces within the village or within key areas where that's just not going to happen because the county has control over those roads. If somehow we can get the property owners who own that property next to Target, the property owners that own property along Fairview Parkway, sitting there underneath the power lines, we know who these people are. They're sitting on the money. Okay. Now, be that as it may, we got an economy that's kind of topsy-turvy right now, and it's impacting us as a city, and it's impacting developers as it is too, because we don't really know where the buck's going to stop. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. Stock market's doing great. My investment advisor goes like, it's just a matter of time before it crashes. So we're going to have to be kind of, from where your perspective and where are we going to go with the city, it's going to be kind of like incremental basis to shoot for a bigger goal. I don't see anything being able to accomplish the task of being able to fill our vacant commercial properties unless we have something like has been suggested with a park and ride, a little local trolley to bring people in and say, you park here, you charge your car, you do whatever you want, you get on the trolley, you drive around, and you get dropped off at all these various places in the village. All the other places that we're looking at develop, that we have these open spaces, and including the Heart of Halsey thing that might come up to fruition another few years down the road. It's all part of the bigger picture. The key thing about the bigger picture, as I see it, is that we have to start with the big picture and get it. And we can't get there without having the funds to do it. So it really boils down to how best can we utilize these funds. There was a time where grant funding was more abundant, but I think it's probably, that died on the vine, and I don't know when it's going to come back, if ever. And so, it's really driving the whole system down to where we used to have federal monies and things like that to be able to help municipalities to be able to develop and grow and improve. But it's now become incumbent upon us as a little city of 10,000 plus to be able to try and figure out how to do that. And that's nearly an impossible task, but not to the point where it can't be accomplished with some incremental things. Having somebody come in and try to develop people to come in here and say, like, how are we going to be able to get people to fill these vacant commercial storefronts? I don't know if it's going to end up having any more success in the future than it has currently, simply because we do not have the infrastructure to be able to transport people around. Really boils down to that parking thing. And if a person comes through Mount Halsey, they're going like, oh, gee, what a wonderful little city this is. What is going to compel them to turn up on Village and drive around in here, see what they've got to offer? Now, good marketing is going to be a big thing. But once they get in here, they go like, oh, there's a cool little store. Hey, honey, let's find a place to park. Oh, yeah, we can go ahead and park over at Kohl's, walk on over, I guess. It's just not going to be the kind of convenient thing. And if you go downtown Gresham, for example, it's small, narrow roads and stuff, but they do have parking spaces that were then walking distance. It's really a key element. And I don't think Fairview is going to go anywhere unless we figure out a way to be able to provide that infrastructure to attract people to want to come in and take a look to see what we offer. Otherwise, we're going to be relegated to be a quiet, sleepy bedroom town which has lots of really, really nice amenities that only the people who live here know about. And focus on trying to get our budget back up again. And I don't have the solution to that one any more than anybody else does. I'm not opposed to seeing an economic development specialist coming in here, but I'm not sure the cost benefit analysis would be able to justify that person's wages based upon what the benefit might come from it. I would have to throw that out there.
And whatever that person offers, why would you put a business in Northbrook? You know, you can give them free rent for a year. But if there's no place for those people to park, so whatever that economic person offers, unless we give them a place to park, you know, and I'm beating a dead horse here, but I'm telling you that, so kind of to your point on the disconnect between our committees and city council, I don't know what percentage of the time that Ian comes, but I don't think that our conversations ever really get reflected to the council of how passionate we've been on this stuff for 10 years now, you know? So it's not as though we haven't been trying. So to your point, you know what, maybe you're recommending that we dissolve our committee and we just have focus groups, which would probably just be just as effective as what we're doing. So I don't really have a problem with that. As long as we start getting our voice heard. I mean, I've been doing this for, I don't know how long, 10 years, begging to. So way back when, the corner down there that we just mowed, which looked beautiful, the PP&L corner, we had them on board to help us do a park and ride, let us do a park and ride. Now, I agree we don't have the money to do it, but back then we did. And if we would have had a good liaison between this committee and the city council, maybe would have gotten somewhere, but I just don't feel like our voice in here really goes anywhere. So I'm fine with the focus group.
I have to add on that. I don't think the council does that, you know, has deaf ears to what the committees recommend. We just don't have the budget for it. And it comes down to sitting there, what are the priorities? Well, we need police, we need fire department, we need to be able to pay the essential FTEs to make the city run. Beyond that, we're still running in the red. So, I mean, you got to get the budget fixed.
I agree. I appreciate both your comments. I absolutely agree. One of the things that I completely agree with you that there's not been that connection with the councils it should have been. And I've only been here a little over a year. I don't have the full history. I've heard things, but it's actually one of the things I'm trying to look at. That's why we're talking about the focus groups and talking about having someone assisting. But either way, I mean, I may never have that person. I don't know, but the idea is to get the groups together, to get the ideas. The park and ride idea that, for example, Halsey Street. Okay, let me just back into the county a little bit, just back up a little bit. We have issues with the county not taking care of our right of ways. I mean, the big time for us city, okay? Trash, we're spending a couple of days of staff time, a day and a half of staff time picking up trash in county right of ways, plus our parks, which of course is not them. We have potholes. I had potholes. I had John Yama, our public works director, formally report on this, the section between Sandy and Halsey on 224th, 223rd. They fixed 2 of them. There's still 3 or 4 more. I'm saying there's one right there at Halsey Crossing. I mean, it's like this big and it's still been fixed. So I'm actually working really hard with the county. I actually met with their director over all of their services and working with her. We're trying to work because I really want some things taken care of. And I've proposed that either you take care of it or we take care of it and bill you, or you give us money and we take care of it. So I want you to know we're trying to work on it. And that's the kind of thing that this person actually involved in is working with the county. I mean, Sarah's doing great work in the county on the Halsey project. Yeah, they have limited money too. But, as we get voices, we try to dig deep into the system. We're trying to get together and unite like, hey, we really need help on Halsey Street. Halsey could use help. I mean, absolutely. I lived in Northbrook for 4 months. And I'm not going to tell you my experience on recording here, but we're not there anymore. I'll put it that way. But nevertheless, I understand the parking issue. Absolutely. Because I had 3 cars. I had to sell one of my cars because I had no place to put it. I wasn't going to try to park at anybody's house or anything. I think that was right. I was going to try to park it in our free public parking. That's another really quickly. We got this parking lot over here. Nobody knows about it. And there's no signage for it. and people come over here and we got residents using it for free because they have to park in the other parking lots and pay for it. I'm gonna fix that. Good, this isn't, we need to have residents come here and be able to come to our parks and say, hey, we got a nice parking spot. We're gonna resurface it, and we're gonna stripe it so it's not so narrow. So I'm trying to think of all these, we're trying to work on these ideas. I love these ideas, and that's where I want to get, if we can get focus groups, a focus group and working with the council, I think is gonna have a strong method. A lot, and especially if council's leading and part of the budget process, yeah, we don't have the money left right now, okay, we're working on it, I understand that. But, you know, trying to get those transportation funds, but even coming up with ideas, and then as the budget process, we start to look at things like, hey, we can work on this. We're constantly, once a week, I have all departments, we meet, we discuss things, we're trying to work on moving forward, but they have to have some ideas, hey, here's a small idea, let's work on it, and get the focus group together, and the focus group says, yeah, this is a good idea, or this is not a good idea, and here's some things we should look at, and hey, you know, maybe I know this business owner, and maybe this person would be wanting to do this, and that's great, and that's the kind of feedback we can take to the council, we could even have those people come to the council. Because as you said, Dean and Steve, the part of the issue is, it's not the councils don't care, I know they care very much. But it's like, they have so much stuff, they have so much business to do, they're coming in, they're doing this, we're doing budgets. It's like, and then the committees, it's just like a very quick little thing, it's like a little update what's going on, and then you don't feel heard. And they don't feel like they have time, but I'm not putting myself in my seats, I'm just kind of saying what I think may be happening. But yeah, I'm really trying to figure out a structure to where we can get more bang for the buck, more impact.
Well, one thing I will say, I think we all appreciate you coming tonight and laying the cards on the table. So at least we're not wasting our time.
Well, thank you. I've been getting around all the committees and trying to talk to them, spend time with them. I mean, I really appreciate all of you. I mean, I live here too, like all of you. And I love this little city, you know, it's kind of cool because I can see my hometown, which is Camas. Every morning I can see Camas, but I really love it here.
Real quick question. So on the corner project over here, I don't know if you can give us enough. Why is it we're not allocating a big part of that for city center parking?
You don't own
The corner,
Fairview.
the Heart of Fair, the
we own-
Village in Halsey, Heart of Fairview project.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there will be extra parking. I mean, that's the intent.
Now, when I'm saying extra parking,
Mhm.
we have to have parking for what's gonna go there
Right.
and then extra parking.
Mhm.
Yeah, that project kind of predates me. We have a lot of barriers we're working on, but you know, I mean, who's to say someone couldn't work with maybe, I don't know who owns the other parking lots, you know, but you know, who's to say we'll work with them and say, hey, can we work out some type of arrangement where people can park there for businesses in the daytime or something? I don't know, maybe the businesses chip in a little bit of money. I don't know. I don't know what the.
Neither do we.
Well, that's my point, is it's like, you know, I understand those people that own those parking lots, that they don't want to give them up for free, I get that. But maybe there's some type of arrangement, we can come up with something, and we can put up signage, you know, we face this issue in Tillamook, where as a city manager with the signage issue, because you have so many people come through and try to get parking lots. It's tough, I mean, I'd love to have the money just to build a parking garage, that would be fantastic, that's the kind of thing I would promote. I mean, look at it, we got a property right here for sale, you know.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's just say we took some of our grant money that we know we don't have, we'll find it somewhere. But back to me in the parking lot, I can't believe that would cost more than $150,000 to restripe the street and give us 70 or 80 spots. To me, that seemed like the best bang for a buck.
Well, I don't disagree with you, I don't know what it costs, I'm sure it'd be, but.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that was at least, you know, since it's a Multnomah County road, that's the
biggest
barrier. The barrier that we kept running into was they're saying, due to the condition of the road, we can't just do like a very minimal, like a slurry seal over the pavement to restripe it. We need to like redo the
The actual surface.
yeah, like put another layer on
Yeah.
the surface, and it's gonna cost us at least $800,000.
But the point is who's they? So I'm just saying, let's say that you give me a weekend, I'll black out all the stripes and I'll paint them. And you know what? It might only last for 4 years. What if it lasts for 4 years and we fill up Northbrook, we fill up some of these places?
I assure you, if that was a city road, it would be a different process.
Well, kind of my understanding, talking with some of the people, it's all about money. So if we told Multnomah County we would do it, I don't think they'd have a problem. It's all about money,
I think if we had the money, it would definitely expedite the process.
right?
Back to square one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I was just-
That's transportation money, which comes from fuel tax, which we don't have much of, but we only have a fuel tax for the city. So.
So I would vote, get rid of the grant program and spend the money on that, and then people will come.
I was just remembering, the first meeting in April, Commissioner Jones Dixon is coming to talk with the council about the county budget, right?
Correct.
And priorities.
Yeah, that would be a good meeting for everybody to attend if you'd like.
This is when?
April 1st.
Oh, for April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
It's real, yeah. And I think it's 6%.
And that's the council.
Yeah, that'd be a council meeting where Commissioner Jones Dixon's coming to talk about county budget. So, and when I say they, I'm talking about the county transportation department. They're the ones.
Isn't Ian on the East County? Multnomah County
Yeah.
Transportation Board? Ian.
Mocktown. Yes, this is correct.
Hey,
But if in fact we could find the money, don't you think that Multnomah County would go along with it a lot easier?
If we have the money, they still have their process and procedures, but I can't speak for their behalf, but if we have money, it definitely things get move faster. You know, but not everything, like, for example, one of the things that we're working on forever is getting a safe crossing underneath the undercrossing that are on 123rd.
Yeah. Railroad
It's really
bridge.
dangerous, and I drive through there every day because I live near there, but people are walking through there, but the issue is the county's been great, the city actually is, how much do we pay? We paid,
Oh, I think there's
We're
been,
paying
yeah,
for it.
we're going to pay for the
We're actually
construction.
paying for it.
We're just waiting for the railroad to approve it.
We pay for the engineering, we're paying for that. And it's a partnership between the county and the Union Pacific Railroad. Getting that easement has turned out to be a long process.
Whatever happened with adding another line? Was that a pipe dream a couple of years ago? Whatever happened on that position?
You know, we haven't heard an update on that for a while, adding another line to widening the railroad tracks. So they may still be in planning, but I'm not sure how soon that might
We're
happen.
trying to get that project done before that happens.
Right.
I remember the time,
So,
yeah.
So we've got a design, we've got the money set aside to build that. We are just waiting on
The agreement.
the agreement, the right of way access, because that's county, and so we have to get that right of way. It has to be from Union Pacific to the county and then the project. If I remember correctly.
Mhm.
So let's borrow from that fund for a year and stripe the street.
That's URA money and it's about 300,000.
Yeah, it's not that much.
550,
550, excuse me.
but
So-
yeah. But yeah, your urban renewal funds. Mhm.
How much do we actually benefit from, the SDC waivers and stuff like that?
How much do we benefit? We don't benefit.
We don't get any funds from it. But I'm gonna say, okay, then I have to ask, why do we do it?
But we're not anymore. That was something that's in the past. The SEC waivers,
Yeah,
yeah, that we don't do that anymore. No.
Yeah, but declare,
The only ones, I'm sorry.
Well,
That
we
you are
still,
getting paid.
we still have the program, but the urban renewal agency repays the utilities. So it's still an urban renewal
No, I have-
expense.
I thought you meant something else.
the money always comes from one place.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just put another label on it and put it in a different bucket. It all comes from the same place.
Mhm.
Well, it's very complicated, but the different buckets can only be used for certain things.
This is true.
And yeah, it's complicated, but I'm sorry, the STC being
Yeah.
paid by your, yes, it's still, but like, for example, I understand there are a lot of STC waived in the past, STC fees are waived in the past.
Mhm.
Well, now we're gonna have to make up for that because like well 10 now has to be built. A majority of that's coming from our water fund. And guess what? We don't have enough money. So now we're gonna be we're proposing to raise our water fees because we need to have the money to build the well and take care of it. Right? because those, one of the big major things we talked about, this is on public record, but the SCCs, because they were waived back in the day and we didn't pay them, now we're suffering for it. It's the same thing, SCC fees are so important. As long as they're paid by URA, they're paid by somebody, they're really important to have because we build infrastructure. Upgrade, I mean, for example, the sewer line that's under Sandy, that was built in like 1954, I think. That thing needs replaced. I mean, and we're hoping to do that when they do the Sandy project. But we got tons of things that the thing that I'm so worried about is I don't want to turn out what we had in Tillamook where everything was put in the ground between the 30s and the 70s and it wasn't touched. And it was all falling apart. It was like springing up geysers everywhere. So we need to replace a little bit of time. We need to have the foresight to say, hey, this pipe is going to be replaced in 50 years. And we start to put that into our project plans and we go replace things. We have to do that. And it's not been done. It's oftentimes it's unfortunate that people will build something like, that's great. It looks nice. 20 years from now, they aren't going to be here 20 years, but we don't need to think about I'm not thinking of the time frame I'm going to be here. I'm thinking of the time frame of the city for at least the next 100 years, for 100 years, who knows, but we got to think, we got to plan for the future and having that. And so, everything we're trying to do is trying to plan for the future and I've proposed some big things to council to try to reset our whole everything so we can get going. We're trying to move it. There's tons of things we need to do. I mean, tons. I agree. There needs to be more parking. There needs to be more businesses. I mean, one of the things there's a book called City Limits. It was back in the 70s, but you have to have business. And we specifically struggle in Oregon. It's really awesome not to have sales tax, but it really hurts our cities because they don't have sales tax. So, I mean, when you have a business go in, the only thing we really, other than benefits, externalities of the benefits of people being here and being their businesses, but we don't get sales tax, we just get tax revenue. They're already capped on our property taxes. So we have lots of challenges and struggles, but it's not that we can't do our best. But there's a lot to think about, a lot to consider. So.
Well, it's like with the current state of the economy in flux, everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Everybody's being regrouping. How are our sister cities and neighboring cities coping with the same thing? How are they doing it? Is there collaboration to have a discussion with that? Because this becomes not only a city, municipality, county, it becomes regional, statewide on how we're going to generate the funds. Right now, we can't even generate enough gasoline tax to be able to fix the potholes in the road.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the dollar. And if we're not getting it from what used to be the great, infrastructure act that died on the vine, then everybody's in the same boat. And, I don't see that there's an immediate solution to these situations unless it becomes more of a regional, state, maybe even national solution. That being said, it isn't going to happen right away, but focusing on what we need to do here as a city, just being able to pay the bills and get the essential services provided for the citizens is probably the key element.
I agree. So we're working on, just this week, I've been exchanging emails with all the city managers, but most of the cities in the state, 365 emails, because it's more than just those people. But we were looking at all the public safety fees, looking at them, and we have this giant spreadsheet that Adam Brown from Kaiser put together. So he's the city manager there. He put it together. We're adding on to it, and you take a look at Corvallis. Corvallis has a public safety fee of $40 a month. Jeffersonville has a public safety fee of $79 a month. And Fairview has one at $20 a month. I'm saying that this is a big issue. I'm saying everybody's concerned about everything going on. We have a lot of issues. It's very much, I can tell you the impact on Wood Village and Troutdale is pretty close to ours. They're in a little bit better position. And the main reason I'll just tell you, quite honestly, and I talked about this in the budget committee last year, the reason they're a little bit better deal is because the situation, it's not much better, is because they didn't have a situation that we have. And the situation we have, and again, this is not the council, this is administration. The situation we have was previous administration was spending out of our utility funds to cover our general funds. So instead of bringing to the council, bringing to the public, hey, we don't have enough tax money. We need to figure out something. We need to put some solutions in place. We need to do it incrementally. Instead, they were illegally spending money out of our utilities, which are water and sewer and stormwater, even fuel tax. And they were spending it on other things like fire and police and all kinds of bills. So what happened there, not only did they not tell the council about the general fund sinking, but they were illegally spending money out on utility funds to cover these things. Well, on top of that, that drains our utility funds. So we are struggling. We've rebooted the whole thing. We are very transparent about what we have now. It's an open book. You know, you're gonna see it through the whole budget process this year. Very open about everything. We have reset everything's being properly spent the way it's supposed to, but it creates some huge gaps. Yeah, if I could legally just take our utilities fund and start playing, yeah, we could do things, but we have to raise utility rates too. Can't put it all together. It's illegal. It's against, that's why the issue we had 4 years behind audits when we got here. We got almost 3 audits done in a year since I've been here.
How many to go?
And well, it's kind of a catch up now. So right now we got 21 done, fiscal year 21, 2021. 21, 22 is done, and 22, 23 is almost done. It'll be done here next month or so. And then with this summer, we'll be wrap up another one at the end of the summer, and then another one will wrap around the same time next year. And then I think one more, and then we get back on the schedule we're supposed to be.
I want to reiterate the fact that I think you came into a tough situation. So I appreciate that we're all sitting here whining and sniveling, but you're tough enough to just keep it. If it's not for you, then 10 years from now, our city will really be, if we think we're bad now. So I'd rather take the bitter pill of whatever we got to do right now. So.
Well, I appreciate it. I live here, hear about it. We're trying to make, we got a great team.
Mhm.
I mean, one of the things, I'll tell you a small thing that it may not make much difference to you, but when I restructured the organization, when I came in, we had a very weird situation. We had a public works director who was over the whole community development department and public works. We had no HR department. And so things were just a mess. I mean, really a mess. Yeah, now we have an HR director and we have a community development director, and I did it all with no additional people. We just changed around positions. So we had the same people, didn't add bodies for that. And what that has done is allowed, Sarah has, John did awesome and everything, but Sarah has really stepped up the game with our code enforcement. I don't know if you noticed, but our code enforcement is way better than it was when I first got here. We have our code enforcement officer now, because not only is Sarah overseeing that, we also have an additional person. By the way, we didn't hire another person. We had another person moved to one department to help out with our code enforcement. So we have code enforcement going now. And she's also, Sarah Lowen is she's over planning, she's over permitting. So we got a lot of really good things going. We're trying to emphasize it. And then on the public works side, having a director now focus on the public works. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of our things are getting done a lot more now. Our parks, parks are always taken care of, like they're mowed, but there's a lot of parks projects that weren't done. There was, I'll give you an example, if you even knew about this, but on the north side of Alex's Bar, there is what's called an FDC. It's a fire department connection.
Yeah.
It's for water, and it serves the Yamaha building. Okay. Years ago, someone hit that with a car. It was broken, and it hadn't been touched for years. So it's done now. Not only is it fixed now, but it also, I had to put in bollards right there to protect it so it doesn't get hit again. We had a street that was down on the north side of the city that had been closed for 25 years of public street. Okay. And every single year we got emails from the fire department reminding us that need to be fixed. And that's fixed.
It's fixed.
And it's a whole new street, and it's nice. And I really appreciate the developer who did that. She did a great job of it. But we have that in place, and that's after 25 years. And we partner with her, and we're moving forward. There's just a lot of things I'm trying to do, trying to get the city up to par. So, it's not just me. It's our team.
Once you get our situation dug up out of the hole that we're in, where you can actually see the horizon from ground level, then you'll be able to move forward.
That's what we're trying to do. And there's one last thing I want to say about that. I worked in local government, except for a stint in the state and a stint from Multnomah County. Anyway, but I've worked in local government for 25 years. So I'm gonna tell you, this is the best mayor council I've ever had. And what I mean by that is they care and they're supportive. They're supportive of us trying to move forward and trying to come up with a comprehensive plan. They're not fighting in the house. I'm sure they have their differences. I know everybody has their different opinions, but I've been a very dysfunctional council. Maybe a functional council is trying to work with staff and trying to move forward, trying to listen to the community. So I just want to say that. So.
Yes.
I appreciate you listening, and I am seriously available. In fact, I even got it set now where I have it, we have, well, it's not that for me, but a little 10% of a person's time that you can actually email me and set or call, and it should immediately get a meeting set up right on my calendar. So, because I get hundreds of emails every day, so I'm just not able to set meetings as fast as I'd like to, so. Just email admin if you're not good. Anyway, I'm trying to say I'm open to talk to anybody. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
I know,
But
we live and breathe this stuff
appreciate it.
every day,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
sorry if I talk so fast.
No, I think it's kind of, it's nice, we appreciate hearing. I think we've, said that, appreciate hearing and having the opportunity to have discussion, because Dean's been here a while, Stephen's now been here a while as well, and hopefully, you'll be here a while as well, and so just appreciate the opportunity to kind of hear transparently what's going on and what we're probably how we're gonna be impacted by it as well, so.
Well, thank you.
And I mean, you are all like great liaisons out into the community too. So understanding the situation as you talk with your friends and neighbors and colleagues from Fairview, it's just helpful to know what's going on.
Because I will say that I already get questions, why are our taxes so high? What are they?
Yep.
So I
Okay.
that will probably, that will probably not be, that question will not be going away, so.
No.
Yeah.
Well, if you take a look at, so one of the things that changed is we now have a much bigger newsletter that goes out, that goes EDM, or every direct door mailing, EDDM. Goes out to all the residents, and it comes out every quarter. Take the last two, and it's on our website too. I have some really specific articles about our finances and our budget.
It's very, very informative. And that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. I appreciate it because it does bring a lot of light to it. It should bring more people into council meetings, but it doesn't. And the overall problem is just fundamentally in our great,
It's
wonderful society is too few actually get engaged. Most people are pretty apathetic about things until it really hits the pocket.
We're all a full bedroom community, and bedroom communities are different than central Lake.
Yeah.
Say Tillamook are different because it's the center. Even though it's very small. But, yeah, I just want you to know that there is information out there, there's resources on our website. So we're all in this together. We all live here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Again, appreciate it. I would look forward to an opportunity. I'll try to get on your calendar anytime I have a couple of questions, a couple of things I'd just kind of like to talk to you about, because
Absolutely.
I mentioned it before and I know the direction that you're going. And it's kind of like to sit down and kibitz for a bit if you have the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Happy to. Dean comes and meets me once about every 2 weeks, every 2 months.
Yeah,
Every 2 weeks we find.
and it's always good. You can just have a good candid conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, happy to do it. That's what I'm here for.
Well, I think I'd give you a heads up. I'm kind of looking to see where budget can be improved by extra revenue.
Well, if you call our main number and go to the city manager, that now goes toward our Ida is her name, and she's the HR assistant, but she does a little piece for me too. And she'll schedule a meeting like right away, or you can email admin@fairviewride.gov. But either way, so.
And the next city council meeting, next Wednesday, is going to be just a work session. And the focus of that work session is city finance. So there's going to be a presentation on urban renewal finances. There's going to be a discussion about different ways that, we can generate more revenue. So if you're interested, tune in on YouTube or come over to City Hall.
Yeah.
To the,
Also accomplishments last year and goals. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, working sessions are,
6 o'clock.
but they're listening, right? They're not, they don't, public doesn't talk.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, so you can hear what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
May I ask you a quick question before you dash, Robin, for Sarah too? Our community center there, it's still mostly big open floor, waiting for people to put chairs in, put away and everything. Has anything changed there? I haven't been in there for years.
So the community center, right now is being used by, Play East for recreation programs, so they have different classes in there. But we have been in the process of sort of doing a building assessment. Building is really old, there's a lot of deferred maintenance. So,
Grange.
Yeah, right.
It's Grange.
yeah.
Yes.
So there are some things that we know need to get fixed, like the ADA ramp, that's kind of along the side of the building. There's like pieces that are kind of rotten out that needs to get fixed. We recently fixed lights, but there are a lot of things. So right now, yeah, Play East is really using it. They use the downstairs for storage and use it upstairs for classes. And then we had, for years, the city has rented it out. People could rent it out during the week and in the evenings and on the weekends. And we stopped taking new rentals just a little bit ago because of identifying some of these deferred maintenance concerns. And so we're kind of in the process of reevaluating the way that we rent, the kind of the structure of the rental program for the community center and for City Hall. So,
Yeah, it used to be
That may
like $150
sure.
deposit, cleanup deposit.
Right, yeah.
Because we've had HOA meetings in there before.
Mhm.
Remember, it isn't kind of short and ask, because we got a nice display cabinet that we'd like to give away to the city if it's something you could use.
I'll show you how old I am. That used to be City Hall, and that's where I used to go to do it.
yeah,
City Hall.
exactly.
My desk was from there, my original desk out here.
So it's an antique.
I know it's gone. It's gone and bought a very inexpensive desk to replace it.
IKEA.
Yeah.
Definitely required.
Quite eventually, but yeah, no, but there are tons of things that I'd love to do, and that community center is one area that needs to be completely redone or something. It's deferred maintenance. I mean, this building, if you go out and look on the north side, John did get 3 sides taken care of, and look at the north side, and you're going in there. Take a look at it someday when it's not dark. It needs a lot of work. But we're getting a lot of things. We have an HVAC system that's failing upstairs. I mean, this place has been deferred maintenance. We just got done repainting the police side. I mean, it was bad. There were holes in the wall. I mean, it looked terrible. It was unbelievable. I'm like, wow. So we're trying to take care of things, trying to get things fixed. But anyway.
Okay.
But as far as thank you so much for the idea. Maybe what I could have you do is we actually have a facilities, we can actually email facilities.
Mhm.
And for if you're working, and you can let us know about it, we can take a look and see if we can something.
So otherwise, it's just gonna be destroyed, thrown in.
Yeah, maybe just a picture of that and take a look at it.
So I guess, moving forward with the committee, based on the discussion tonight and the feedback. I think the plan will be to let you know when we have some new council business that's related to economic development. That needs feedback from you and from other members of the community. And we'll set that up, and I think, we'll make sure that those get scheduled far enough in advance. And since it is not necessarily going to be on his regular schedule.
And if you wouldn't mind, Sarah, so it's gonna be after budget, but I'm gonna be going to council again to have more discussions about setting up the committees, because I really wanna, strengthen them. So that discussion, if you wouldn't mind letting the committee know, when I can go to
Sure,
council, so
sure.
that you have the opportunity to be a part of that, at least observe it, and then if the council wants to have you involved and ask, I'm sure there's gotta be a point where they would ask questions. I can't speak on behalf of the council in that regard, but I think it would be that'd be great for you. I mean, yeah, it's just post on our website to see that, but I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be probably.
So I want to be clear on what we're saying. So are we like disbanding EDAC and we're gonna turn it into focus groups? So when we leave here tonight, I want to make sure that that's kind of what I'm hearing. Is that?
Yes, well,
Is that
there's two.
Immediate or long term?
Well, I think what Sarah is suggesting, if I may, is that. So right now, the ordinance doesn't state focus groups. The ordinance is the EDAC. So I think what Sarah's saying, hey, let's not reconvene this committee until we have something to discuss. And then the long term is that I'm gonna be going to council, we're gonna be discussing ordinance. Already, you can go back and you can email me. Can't remember which meeting it was. We actually had the discussion about advisory committees. And by the way, I'd suggest you go back and look, I think it was February 4th, we did the budget, or not the budget, but the projected budget. Anyways, one of the 2 meetings of February. If you want to go look at that, we had a whole presentation on budget, but anyway, so when we, I'm gonna propose to council, I'm gonna propose some ideas on council and the ordinances, and they're gonna review those, go through a process, and then that would be, eventually, I would hope that they would adopt something that they decide they feel good about, and then that's where it would probably be a focus group, more of a focus group. But for now, yes, it's still, the committee's not gonna be disbanded. I mean, we just don't have to meet unless we have something.
We've been practicing that for a couple of years. We don't have any business come before the body. We don't have a meeting until there is.
Yeah, and the code technically says meet once a quarter is kind of the minimum, I think, number of meetings, or says, meet 4 times a year. So there's that, at least that flexibility built in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not super concerned if we don't,
Yeah.
Right,
there's no
right,
advisory committee police, so,
yeah.
but we do want to get it shored up, and I appreciate nobody throwing rocks or anything at me. So,
Cool.
Understood. I understand.
Good meeting. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, it's a team effort, we're getting there.
Yeah.
So,
You're wondering if I have any economic development updates?
Yeah, sure.
Well, just briefly, let's see, the photography studio that received an urban renewal grant to move locations on Village Street. Is now finished the tenant improvement construction project. She's moving in. She received her certificate of occupancy. So she's just getting all of her sort of furnishings set up. So that's exciting, and hopefully she'll be operating out of that space in no time. I'm going to take a tour of it next week. Yeah.
Where's that located?
Driving down the road, the visual is beautiful.
Yeah.
Your windows.
So it's you know where the clock tower is?
Yeah.
It's directly below that on the ground floor.
Right
Yeah.
in the corner, right?
Yeah.
So it's very all white with arches, and there's curtains in the windows, and nice, this flower arrangement set up. And so, yeah, I think it'll look nice.
I think she's got some new business.
Yeah, she's gonna have, I wanna say some other makeup and aesthetic artist. There's a couple stations inside that she's subleasing, so, yeah. And then I think since the last meeting we had in October, in December, I believe it was, PGE and the battery energy storage project, and the Port of Portland came and made the announcement that the Port of Portland owned lot, which is way up at the north end of Fairview, kind of just south of the levee and east of 223rd, kind of where 223rd terminates, and north of Marine Drive. The Port of Portland has owned this lot for a long time. And it has a lot of development constraints. Most of the property was a wetland mitigation site for them. And so they partitioned off the piece that could be developable. But transportation and utilities and everything are really challenging to that location. So they ended up selling it to this company, NextEra Energy, which has developed the property immediately to the east in the city of Troutdale with these big conic boxes. They essentially bring in power off of the grid, and they store it in these battery systems in these Conex boxes. They'll have their own small substation, and then they'll feed it back into the grid during peak demand hours. So it sounds, I think we've talked about this before. It sounds like it's, not super exciting, but it's a pretty huge investment. They actually have a website up right now, Fairview Energy Project, where it says it's a $350 million investment. So that will be great for the city. I think it's a little bit different than a building investment or, with machinery and equipment. So I don't have a super good handle on how that value, maintains over time, but it's huge and it'll also be a big impact in terms of, even like their building permit fees. So that's kind of the new business news in the last couple of months. And then one other, oh yeah. Mhm.
The valuation of property will way up.
Yeah.
This,
Yes,
yeah, these are worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they're very low impact, they only have a few employees. So,
yeah. So it's a good location for it.
yeah.
Kind of, yeah,
So
out of
I
sight
really
and,
hope
yeah,
they're a city.
exactly.
It's really big.
Yeah, that's huge. And then, yeah, I guess the only other thing I could share, we did have a pre-application conference with Target representatives. They're exploring partitioning off part of their parking lot to lease for somebody to build an additional building in the lot. Like, so there could be another commercial building and
Where's
business
this?
in the future in the Target parking lot.
Yeah.
So, and it's very early kind of scoping at this point, but I think again, a business that I think on a national scale is kind of struggling a little bit, so I think that makes sense. They have a huge parking lot and it's definitely not maxed out in terms of its utilization. So good use of the property, I think. So, yeah, that's kind of what I know in terms of new business related activity right now.
How did that project along the same area they were talking about where they're gonna put in the battery storage? We approved some sort of transfer station down there that they guys are doing. How's that progressing?
There's nothing really new on it. I think it's a property on the Columbia River. That's going to be used to bring in aggregate off the river. And so it's an aggregate transload facility. So they store it there and then it's a concrete batch plant. So then they bring concrete mixer trucks off the site. So I think they're still going through some of the other permitting they need to related to their river access and other things. So, yeah, I think we'll maybe they'll be moving forward around this summer. Same thing, is what I've heard with the new office building on Depot Street, across the street from the school, associated with the fuel company. They've submitted all their, permit drawings and, we've heard that they're planning to move that project forward this summer.
There's another exciting big project, Blue Lake.
Blue Lake Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We'll talk about that.
yeah, Blue Lake Metro went through a big planning process for like kind of reimagining the future of Blue Lake Park. And they have funding to do an initial phase of construction. So they came and presented the plan to the council again over the last few months. And they're planning to do some things, including like relocating the swim beach, creating a spot where you could do potentially like boat rentals again, kind of changing the location of the dock, redoing some of the, I think they would like to just kind of really bring more focus and orientation to the park, which is pretty sprawling right now. So relocating a few things, building a new, bigger playground and splash pad. So again, it'll be done in phases, but they had some initial bond money for the planning and the construction. And then I think they were able to gather up some additional funds too for the project. So I think that will probably won't start until the fall of 2027. And their idea would be like they did when they built their new office building and put in new water line in the park. They just kind of like closed the park down for the off season so they could do construction and it would minimize the impacts to the public.
Whatever happened with the sidewalk potential on 223rd?
Oh, that's happening
They're moving.
this summer. This summer, June, construction should hopefully start. It's a Safe Routes to School project, so. From a little bit north of Halsey Street up to Bridge Street, they'll be closing in the sidewalk gap on the west side of the road and then adding bike lanes. So. That is definitely coming.
So it'll pretty much go from Halsey Crossings all the way down to
So
like the school.
it finally connects with the
Right.
sidewalk that exists on
Right.
before you get.
See to Sandy Boulevard on the west side of 223rd.
So right now it's about halfway up and it has
Yeah.
the crossing area and then it kind of stops.
Yeah.
I drive everything I see, so.
Yes, sidewalk ends here, like you wouldn't have figured that out on your own.
Well. You still have to do it for liability.
So is PG&E relocating
Yes.
Oh, they've
Quite a
been
bit
doing
of
so much construction. It's been a little bit of a
Yeah.
barrier and a bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, but they've
Yeah.
been pretty good. I mean, they've been very good at given the work that they're doing, the like sign people, you know,
Uh-huh.
see you and.
When they do that, will they be going underground?
No,
No.
I don't think so. There's just not enough money. Because it's a Safe Routes to School funded project through ODOT. The funds were just limited and I don't think they could even be used for the PG undergrounding necessarily.
Well, being critical, that's funny that if you're a private developer,
Right.
you have to underground it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's it, yeah.
Different
I know you guys
side.
didn't make the rules.
We were crowded and told them.
Yeah. Well, you know, something, I am definitely going to miss the opportunity to sit here and be able to glean much more information I would otherwise be able to get even from the newsletter you guys set up. I really depend on sitting in these meetings and learning what's going on in the city. I don't think it's going to be discussed at this level at the council because they have an agenda they stick with, so you're not going to pick up the pieces there. So we're just going to have to camp out on your front door and find out.
We'll eventually have a structure in place, develop park and have. The opportunity would be also that because it's not so stringent and stuck with appointments, you can buy other people, get bigger groups. So it's not like you have to go through this formal process of being appointed by the council.
We'll have to do minutes on every single one.
Have to do minutes, yeah.
Or as officially.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, if that's it, adjourning at
Are we
7.
done?
Yeah.
I make a motion, we adjourn.